Hello and welcome to this special presentation by the Better Ideas team on how to buy solar and go solar with confidence. As you'll see, the chat box is open as you're joining us on this presentation. Please let us know where you're joining us from. It's great. We have people from all over the country, Florida, California, Texas, everywhere, Maryland, all over the country. So please feel free to say hello and then put your location in the chat box. It's great that we can see you. Also in the chat box, we are going to endeavor to answer every question that comes up as we go through this presentation today. But please just add your questions in the chat box. And if we don't get the chance to answer them during this presentation, or we've just missed your question in it because sometimes the chat box can get real busy, we will get back with you and get your questions answered. So please, that's the best place to put them, is in the chat box to the right, and feel free to say hello on the way through. All right, we're going to get this presentation underway. Welcome again then to the Better Ideas team, How to Buy Solar or Go Solar with Confidence presentation. Thank you for joining us. We're going to start off by explaining who we are, because why should you be spending your precious time on this presentation? Who are we and are we worth listening to? Well, we are the Better Ideas team. The Better Ideas team is an organization that develops professionals and leaders in the solar and renewable energy industry. We've helped thousands of people become solar professionals, and we have all of the training and tools to mentor people to become really, really good at helping people make informed decisions about whether solar is right for them or not. We could partner with just about any company that you can think of, but we've chosen to exclusively partner with the most innovative solar company, bar none. This company is called Power. And as you'll see in this presentation, Power has some extraordinary characteristics that mean that going solar through Power is a fantastic experience for you. And also economically, it just makes tremendous sense. Power is an amazing company, blending together technology and sales processes that are completely disrupting the way solar is sold, rightly so, because it's been incredibly inefficient. And so I think you'll enjoy how Power brings solar to you. And I think you'll enjoy, hopefully, at least how the Better Ideas team help you make an informed decision as to whether solar is right for you. To that end, it's my great honor and privilege and pleasure to introduce to you Carol Cole-Lewis. Carol Cole-Lewis is one of the founding leaders of the Better Ideas team. She is a consultant expert now with Power, helping others in the process of selling solar to homeowners just like you. She's incredibly knowledgeable, experienced, and just a first-class person to be giving this presentation today. Her education and training background comes from a master's degree in curriculum design from Columbia University and years as a corporate meeting facilitator and organizational development trainer. Her consultative sales and technology experience was developed as a sales exec with IBM UK, where she helped large clients such as the London Stock Exchange, Standard Chartered Bank, and other large financial institutions implement their IT strategy with IBM's products. She started her path into the solar energy consulting industry in 2016 because it combined her love of tech and her teaching and training abilities to allow her to help homeowners in their journey towards going solar, to permit her to earn a sustainable income that's a core, let her part in taking a significant step towards reversing global warming. My name again is Andrew Smith, and it's my pleasure, honor, and great delight to introduce you to Carol Cole-Lewis, who's going to walk you through this presentation. Carol, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andy, for that wonderful introduction. It is my honor and privilege to be able to help homeowners go solar because I love being able to basically live my values by doing this work. Welcome to this webinar. I really appreciate the time you've chosen today to educating yourself about solar. And it's our goal that you will leave with all of your most important questions answered about solar. and hopefully convince you that going solar now is the most financially sensible decision that you can make. So let's get started. Here are the top 5 reasons I've found to be why people want to go solar. How many of these reasons are yours? First, to replace an expense with an asset. If you're paying an electricity bill, that's a monthly expense. If you buy solar panels, that turns the monthly expense into an asset. Instead of spending money each month, when you go solar, you're actually investing it into something that will add value to your home. Second, how many of you have investments? Are these investments in the stock market, a retirement fund, CDs, or savings accounts? An investment in solar is currently returning between 10 and 20%. Are your investments doing that well? If not, then underperforming investments in any portfolio you might have are a good place to get cash for a solar energy system. Third, more control and predictability. Solar energy allows you to have a predictable energy payment each month. Some people like knowing ahead of time what they're going to pay and not to be held hostage to ever-increasing electricity rates. Does this sound like you? Fourth, people want to reduce their environmental impact. Our planet is at a critical point when we really do have to start reducing our carbon footprint, and solar is a significant step you can take towards doing this. And did you know that rooftop solar is one of the top 10 proven solutions for actually reversing global warming? How many of you have this as a reason? And finally, to reduce or eliminate your electricity bill. Solar just saves money. The purpose of this workshop is to show you how you can save money on your electricity bill and add thousands of dollars in value to your home. To share the most important things you need to know about solar systems before you buy. To help you gain the confidence to expertly interview any prospective solar provider. To help you determine if your home qualifies for solar. And to empower you to take the first steps towards going solar so you won't have to worry about your electricity bills going up ever again. In full disclosure, I'll give you everything I can in the time we have together. I promise that you will leave today with enough knowledge to get you started on your own. But I also promise I'll share a way you can take this further through working with us. And you are under no obligation to do anything. Though I believe that you'll find you'll absolutely want to do something if this makes sense to you. Are you with me? Okay, well, let's get started. What I'll cover today. Secret number 1. What utilities don't want you to know about your energy. Secret number 2, how solar energy and utility net metering works. And secret number 3, how to determine if solar energy is right for you. So let's start with secret number 1, what utilities don't want you to know about your energy. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. What is it that utilities don't want you to know? What is their dirty little secret? Well, this is what we see of the electricity grid. It's a familiar sight on the landscape, isn't it? Transmission towers and their electricity lines. This is what we see, but there's a lot more to it. There are aspects of how we get our electricity that we do not see. This is the coal mine. This is where coal is ripped out of the ground and turned into electricity. This is the dirty little secret. The main source of energy in the United States comes from fossil fuels, and the dirtiest is coal. The centralized power system is dirty. 33% of all global carbon emissions come from coal, the biggest source of carbon pollution on the planet. But there is hope for a cleaner future. See how solar is growing faster than every other form of electrical energy generation that is available today. And it's more than just lowering the cost of technology that's driving the growth of solar. Laws are changing to support solar and renewables. On May 9th, 2018, a law was passed in the state of California requiring solar arrays to be installed on all new homes starting January of 2020. What this means is that if your California home is without solar, should you decide to sell it someday, it will be competing with homes that generate their own electricity. And could the rest of the country be far behind? Maybe right now you're thinking, I don't understand how going solar will work for me. Well, let me tell you a quick story about Karen. I sat down with Karen and took a look at her electricity bill. Her average monthly electric bill before going solar was $161. I saved her a ton of time and research as I helped her obtain a solar energy quote tailored for her situation. Because she attended this webinar, she was able to ask all the right questions so she would get a system that saves her money. Her monthly loan payment after solar, $124. And this included upgrading her electrical panel, which was a fire hazard. You'll hear more about Karen in a moment, where I'll show you just how her proposal met her needs and cost her nothing up front. Secret number 2, how solar energy and utility net metering works. Let me show you now how a grid-tied solar electric system works. Solar photovoltaic, or PV panels, turn photons from the sun into direct current, or DC electricity. An inverter converts the DC from the PV panels into alternating current, that is, AC electricity, suitable for your home. The AC electricity you do not use is sent back to the grid through a net meter. The utility grid also provides you with backup power. In this grid-tied system, there are no batteries at your house. If your grid goes down, you lose power. The grid is your battery for power at night and in bad weather or in power outages, which for the time being is a whole lot cheaper than buying and servicing your own batteries. Though this is changing quickly in the state of California because in power outages, you need to have something locally, and California will be experiencing these this summer. Now let's look at how net metering works with a grid-tied solar energy system. Your power is generated during the day by solar, when the sun is shining, but when your electricity demand is typically lower. The black line in the tan area on the graph shows electricity you use during the day. The red area on the graph shows the excess electricity produced by your solar array that's being sent back to the grid during these daylight hours. That's the green arrows on the house diagram. Power is needed at night after the sun is set. The solar system is connected to the grid. It acts like its giant battery. The blue area below the black line on the graph shows the electricity you pulled from the grid to use during the night and during cloudy days. That's the red arrows on the house diagram. The power company credits you for electricity you produce on your roof during the day and send back to the grid, and then deducts the credits at night when you draw. You are billed each month for the difference. Many utility companies true up with you once a year on the anniversary of your solar installation. This is when you settle your account and you are either paying them for the extra electricity you use, or they are paying you for the excess amount of energy you produced. Now here's why it's so important to size your solar system as close to your energy needs as possible. Many utilities will charge you retail rates for the energy you buy from them and pay you only the lower wholesale rates for the energy they buy from you. It's also important to go solar as soon as possible to get grandfathered into the current net energy metering rate programs. Future net energy metering rate programs will become increasingly less favorable to consumers as more electricity company customers leave the utility to generate their own electricity through solar. Now let's look at secret number 3, how to determine if solar energy is right for you. Now I'll share with you the following need-to-know topics. How to calculate your cost of electricity. Are you eligible for solar? Types of solar financing, what's right for you, and warranties and guarantees. First, let's look at what you're paying for electricity, how to calculate it, and what happens over time. What was the price of gasoline 20 years ago? What if you could have invested in a gas discount card that would lock in the cost of gas at $1 a gallon for the next 20 years? Would you have done so back then? Well, guess what? When you go solar, it's like investing in this card for your electricity costs today. We measure the energy our car consumes in gallons. We measure the electricity our homes consumes using kilowatt hours. The price you pay per kilowatt hour, kWh, depends on a number of variables, including how much electricity you use and when you use it. It can be very confusing, but let's see a simple way of calculating what you are paying on average for a kilowatt hour of electricity. How many of you look at your electricity bill every month? Now, how many of you just grumble and pay it? Now let's look at how to calculate your true electricity costs. First, let's review a typical bill. If your bill is over $100 a month, you're using a lot of energy. Now notice the excessive charges and fees that are a part of that. Fees that include generation, which is the production of your electricity, the transmission of the electricity from where it is generated to the substation, and the distribution of the energy from the substation to your home, plus a whole bunch of other charges too. What's great is that solar is going to be able to help you with all of these costs and lock in your rates. Your solar proposal will be developed based upon your average electricity bill. How much solar you need depends on how much energy you use. You'll see that this bill had a big spike in the summer. In this case, it was a house guest in July. But this particular bill is an April bill, about average for a typical month in this household. To get all the costs per kilowatt hour, you need only 2 numbers on this bill. You'll take the total electric charges of $112.30, including all the extra fees, and divide by the total kilowatt hours used, in this case, 522 kilowatt hours, to get your price per kilowatt hour of 21.5 cents. So, now let's look at how much you're paying over time. The 112 is a 12-month average. Here's how much you will be paying in 12 months. $1,344. And here's what you will be paying over 10 years with no price increase. $13,440. Now, let's just say we're really lucky and we only see a modest 4% increase year on year. What will this look like in 10 years? $16,782. And what if we see what could be a more realistic 8% increase year on year? That's $21,028. And in 20 years, you have paid $66,424. This is the result of money you are currently willingly giving up each month to a utility because you need electricity. You bought your home because you wanted to be free from renting and have more control. So why are you still renting your electricity? And electricity rates show no sign of decreasing. And also, in case if you're thinking of waiting for the technology to get cheaper, these electricity rates are increasing to outpace this. You can see here how catastrophic weather is having an effect all over the country. This is coupled with the mounting costs of a crumbling central electricity grid that needs to be restored or replaced. Who do you think is going to pay for all this? Do you know what is the number one reason why people don't get started with going solar? That's right, I can't afford it. If you can't pay cash, where do you already have the money to pay for a solar loan? That's correct. You already have the money for a solar loan from the money you would have paid for electricity. In fact, this is so important, I'm going to say it twice. You already have the money for a solar loan from the money you would have paid for electricity. We'll show you shortly how creative solar financing replaces the expense of a high and ever-increasing electricity bill with lower payment on an asset on your roof and with no money down. Okay, so now let's see if you're eligible for solar and for some of the best financing options available. We'll look at your electricity bill, your home, your roof, and shading, and your financial situation, specifically your credit threshold. Generally, your electricity bill needs to be around $100 a month or greater on average for solar to make financial sense. If your bills are currently on the low end, are you anticipating any increased energy usage over the next 5 years? Perhaps you might like to run your air conditioner for as cold and as long as you like. Maybe you want to buy an electric vehicle. If this is the case, going solar today, even if your bill is low, could help you prepare for these anticipated costs. Now let's look at your home. Do you own or rent it? If you are a renter, you will need to talk with your landlord first about the benefits of going solar. If your home is manufactured, the roof will not support the weight of the solar panels. If you use enough electricity, though, a ground mount may be a good alternative for you. So now let's look at your roof. Let's assess your roof and check for the following. Roof orientation, size, and shape. Is it in the right direction? In other words, is there enough space for panels on the south side facing of your roof? The west side is also a good option, and east side can also be used if necessary. Roof quality. Generally, your roof needs to be 15 years old or younger in order to install solar. It all depends, though, on the condition of your roof. Are the shingles intact or do they look worn out? If they are old and your roof needs replacing, this cost too might be able to be included as a part of your solar project and could also qualify for the solar federal tax credit. Solar access. Are there trees or obstructions that could create shade on the roof, especially in the afternoon and on the south side of the home? And how close are these trees to the home? So, how many of you think your home qualifies so far for solar? Even if you don't think your home qualifies, you won't know exactly until you have a conversation with a solar consultant. And anytime, it's time to get specific about your situation. What about financing? In the past, most homeowners paid cash for their solar energy system. And you can still pay cash, and this is still the best return on your investment. Many people take money out of the risky stock market and other financial savings they have and invest that money into a solid investment in solar that's making money on their roof. As mentioned earlier, many are seeing a 10 to 20% return on their investment, which is a much better performance and less risky than their stock market portfolios. For those without savings like this, today, innovative financing options make solar affordable. So affordable that this innovation in financing has accelerated the solar adoption dramatically. A zero-down loan or lease is an option for those who qualify. Generally, your credit score needs to be 650 or better for a loan. If you have credit challenges, the Better Ideas team has a program that could help. Let me show you an example now of how a zero-down solar ownership program works. Remember Karen? If you recall, her average monthly electric bill before solar was $161. Installing solar resulted in an estimated cost of electricity over 20 years of $80,474. Karen replaced her utility payment with a solar loan payment for immediate return on investment. Her monthly loan payment after solar is $124. And this included the upgrading of her electrical panel, which was a fire hazard. What do you think are some of the benefits Karen receives by having gone solar? First of all, she knows her monthly loan payment will stay the same, so she knows in advance what she will be paying for electricity. At the end of her 20-year loan term, she owns the system free and clear, and, except for her minimum meter charge, never pays for electricity again. And many systems like Karen's show a positive return on investment within 7 to 10 years after installation. Her home increases in value, typically 3 to 5%, because she has an asset on her rooftop that prints out, figuratively, cash. No hassle, no worries, no risk. Everything is backed by warranties and performance guarantees. And there are no prepayments on her loan, so she can pay down her loan quickly and get a better return on her investment. Now let's meet Howard. Howard attended an in-person version of this webinar a few months ago and ended up with a top-notch solar system and a new roof on his home. And he was able to take the tax credit for both. All of this while paying a few dollars less than his electric bill and locking in his monthly payments for the next 20 years. So what about leasing? A lease is another way to finance solar that you may have heard of. A lease is where the solar provider owns and is responsible for the solar array, and the homeowner pays for the use of the equipment. Let's look at this lease case study from my farm. Our 24-panel solar array services the needs of 2 houses, a barn, and a water pump. We are paying $172 total, which is roughly a monthly savings of $67 and a total savings over the 20 years of the lease of $64,047. This is a great deal for us. This is the orchard house on our farm. Look at the graph on the left. Can you guess which month we went solar? Good guess. And our total electric charge of $9.52 was for the meter. There are several different types of warranties that can be provided with your solar system. The manufacturer's product warranty covers the equipment and protects against equipment defects. It helps if your equipment is from a major manufacturer and one with offices in the United States if you ever have to make a claim on this. The duration of these vary depending on the equipment. Most equipment has between a 10 to 25-year product warranty. The installation warranty covers the work done by the installer on your roof. These are usually around 5 to 10 years in length. The performance guarantee has to do with the amount of energy your panels will produce during their lifetime. Many panels are now guaranteed at year 25 to perform at 85% of the production rate that they had at installation. So what about if I sell my home? This happens all the time, and the solar industry has figured this out. The loans or leases that our installers provide are easily transferable. Make sure your real estate agent understands solar. A solar array fixture is not like a swimming pool. Make sure they know how to position, price, and list your home to show how solar adds value. Make sure they work with the appraiser to educate them about the best appraisal method to use for your solar home. A good real estate agent will understand the best option for you, whether to pay off your loan or lease at closing, or to transfer it to the new owner. So, when is the best time to go solar? Now, of course. So why now? Because every month you pay a utility bill as an expense, you waste money that could have gone towards making a loan payment on an investment in solar for your home. It's the same reason why you bought your own home rather than renting it, right? Why would you rather rent than own your electricity? Also, the more people that go solar, the higher the cost of electricity for those who remain. Labor costs are also rising, which is a major part of the cost of your system, not the technology. Net energy metering is changing fast. And if you're not grandfathered into a current net energy metering program, you will most likely be paying a much higher minimum charge and higher interconnection fees and exit fees as utilities attempt to recoup costs associated with weather events and crumbling infrastructure. And with the 30% solar federal tax credit beginning its demise at the end of this year, you'll want to make sure you can take maximum advantage of this tax credit while it still exists. So what is the process for going solar? Request a free consultation from the person who invited you to this webinar. If you like what you see, then review and sign solar installation agreements. Then the solar installer will do all the rest. The solar installer site visit will confirm the proposal details that will be used to create the final design for your project. Once you approve the final designs, permits will be obtained. Your solar will be installed. The utility will inspect the installation and grant you permission to operate your solar array. Then you turn on your solar and start saving. You might be thinking, this sounds great, but how do I know this is really going to work for me and my home? I've given you some basic information today so you can know a bit more about you, your home, and its suitability for solar. However, you won't know for certain if your home is suitable until you speak with a solar consultant who can more closely look at your situation and give you a better assessment. I will tell you, however, that every single webinar participant I've spoken to feels much more confident and better able to have an informed conversation with one of our team of solar consultants. So shift from dirty energy to clean energy. Rooftop solar is one of the top 10 proven solutions for reversing climate change. Invest in an asset instead of paying for an expense. Reduce or eliminate your electricity bill. Solar saves money and just makes good sense. I hope you've decided to take your first step to going solar with confidence by requesting your free consultation. Please get back today to the person who sent you to this webinar.